Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode of Vibrate Higher. I am your host, Joelle, and we are going to talk about all things nervous system related. We're going to talk about how to regulate our nervous system, how when regulated, it helps us stay out of survival mode and live more in creation mode, and how having a deregulated nervous system impacts how you show up in your day-to-day life. So buckle your seatbelts. Let's dive into this topic. I'm so excited to share all of the things that I know with you, and I am hoping that you get something from this. So let's go. So first, let's go through a brief overview of the nervous system's importance in regulating how our body functions and how we respond to stress. Because I don't know about you, but I've been hearing a lot about nervous system regulation, regulate your nervous system. I feel like that's one of the buzzwords that's out right now. And I think when I hear things like this used repeatedly in other podcast episodes or TV shows or anything I'm listening to, I feel like for my tribe, I want to be able to peel back some layers so that you fully understand what that means, so that when you hear it used again, and maybe wherever you're hearing it doesn't go into a lot of detail, you are already armed with all of the knowledge, or at least a good portion of the knowledge that you need to be able to fully understand whatever other points or talks or whatever else is being said about regulating the nervous system. So I want to share that with you today. So in order to understand it fully, as you all know, I want to dive into what is the nervous system's role? What does it do? So it truly plays a huge role in your brain's growth and development. So your nervous system's main role is to take messages from parts of your body to your brain, and then from your brain to parts of your body to kind of tell your body what to do. So think about moving, breathing, seeing, thinking, all of the things that you really are conscious of, but you're not saying, okay, brain, walk. Internally, your nervous system is managing okay, we're up for the day. We're getting up out of the bed. We're taking a step. We are walking, we're opening the refrigerator, we're pouring coffee. Your nervous system is helping manage all of that. So that's really its main role. It's taking messages from your body parts to your brain, and then from your brain to your body, so that you can actually function throughout the day and move about and do things. There are so many huge benefits to making sure that your nervous system is regulated, because that is the difference between constantly being in survival mode versus creation mode. I did another podcast episode on survival mode versus creation mode specifically. So if that topic piques your interest, you can go back into one of the episodes that I did where I spent the entire time kind of breaking down what that looks like, what that feels like, how to stay in creation mode, so on and so forth. But I do like to refer to, when we're talking about deregulated nervous systems versus regulated nervous systems, I interchangeably use survival mode for deregulated and creation mode for regulated. So today I really want to focus on the autonomic nervous system. So there are a few different aspects of the nervous system. I don't want to get into every single one of those because that is not necessarily my area of expertise, but I do know enough to be dangerous about the autonomic nervous system, and that is what is important when we're talking about regulating our entire nervous system. So your autonomic nervous system has two main branches to it: sympathetic and parasympathetic. So your sympathetic nervous system is responsible for your fight, flight, or freeze response. That's your sympathetic nervous system. Your parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest. So that's the easiest way to remember it. Parasympathetic is rest and digest. Sympathetic is fight, flight, or freeze. It is so important to understand your autonomic nervous system and the parasympathetic versus the sympathetic so that you can arm yourself with knowledge to be able to easily regulate when you need to and know when you're not regulated. So studies have shown that the majority of us spend 70% of our time with a deregulated nervous system. 70% of the time we are living in survival mode or fight or flight. So think about this. When your body is in fight or flight, it is truly pulling huge amounts of resources and energy to adapt to the stress in your environment, because internally your body is trying to prepare you to run, to hide, or to fight. And so to do that, it's going to take all of the energy that it can and flood it to your heart. So your heart can beat faster. It's going to bump up your adrenaline. It's going to give you more energy in your feet and your hand. It's all of these things to get you ready and prepared. And in order to do that, the body is going to take energy from other places that don't necessarily need any energy at that time. So like your salivary glands, your digestive system, it's not time to eat. So, when you think about you becoming panicked or if you're in an emergency state, your mouth is dry. A lot of times I hear people say when they get very nervous, their stomach hurts. That's because your body is in fight or flight and it's shutting down your digestive system because it's so worked up. It's taking the energy to go and to get you ready to pounce or to run or to hide. And so you don't need to digest right now. So it cuts it off, which is why a lot of times you experience these stomach pains or digestive issues because it's shutting things down. It's also shutting down your immune system because in that moment, you don't need your immune system. So it's going to use the energy from your immune system, from your digestive system and other systems in the body to help you deal with this perceived threat. So think about it. When you think about an animal in the wild, right? Let's take a zebra. So we've seen zebras, grazing around, eating whatever things are in the wild, they're chilling. And then all of a sudden, when they sense something danger is near, a lion just pops out of nowhere and chases them, the zebra takes off. And it is fight or flight. It's flying. It's running for its life. It's scared. Once that zebra gets out of the lion's path, the lion goes away, it gets distracted by something else. The zebra had too much of a head start. Whatever happened, the zebra finds itself back in safe pastures and it automatically goes back to grazing. It's back to eating the grass. Maybe there's a pack of them together that were chased and they're chilling again. You don't see the zebra worried still about the lion. The zebra's nervous system literally knows how to relax so that it can repair itself. So the zebra isn't even thinking about the threat anymore. So its nervous system has a chance to relax, repair, pull, give the energy back to things that it needed to go back to. But a lot of times, guys, we as humans, we don't do that. We continue to let lions chase us throughout our entire day. Those lions follow us home from work. They are in our text messages. They are in the form of arguing with friends or loved ones. They are in the form of yelling at children. Those lions consistently follow us. They live in our hearts. They live in our minds. And so if we are not conscious, our bodies are in a constant state of fight or flight or a deregulated state for our nervous system. Off and on throughout the day, as our quote unquote lions are coming into view throughout the day, our nervous system is shutting down and deregulating, pulling energy from our digestive system, our immune system to get us ready. So every other moment you're anxious, you're panicked, you're pissed about something, you're worked up, you're annoyed, you're frustrated. Those are all stress responses to a deregulated nervous system. And your body, and we have talked about this before, your subconscious mind who works in tandem with your nervous system doesn't know internally if it's a real lion or if it's just your boss or your spouse that you're pissed off at or the person that cut you off in traffic. All it knows is that there is a threat. We have to get ready. So it's so important to be able to understand this and put it into perspective so that you can deliberately catch yourself in these moments and get back to a regulated state. Because think about this. When we do not go back to a regulated state, we are constantly in and out of fight or flight. Every hour, every however often is not good for your body. And so what happens? Your organs start to get overworked, fatigued. Can you imagine if your nervous system cuts off your digestion every time you get anxious? And if you're an anxious person and you're living in an anxious type vibration all the time, you probably deal with stomach issues all the time. Enter IBS, enter Crohn's, enter all these other diseases that we have that are products of your organs being in and out of survival mode. So when we chronically are in fight or flight, it can impact our body tremendously because your immune system shuts down. So think about that, just like with your digestive system. If half of your day is spent with your immune system shut down because your body is trying to respond to these quote unquote lions, no wonder you're always sick. You're always getting a cold. You're always the one in the office to catch the flu. You're always the one, who's getting sick all the time, every other month. It could very well be because your nervous system is deregulated. And so you're not giving it enough time to rest and repair itself after these perceived threats. So it is so important to understand the autonomic nervous system and your fight, flight, or freeze versus your rest and digest stages of it. So now you understand the two. Let's talk about how we can regulate our nervous system. So I have a few different tips to offer. And like I always tell you, use all of these, use one of them. It doesn't matter, but I want you to be armed with techniques. So the first one is meditation. If you literally just spend even 10 minutes a day with the intention of actually feeling good, it doesn't have to be a meditation where you sit for 10 minutes and, try your best to not think anything. No, you can think things, but go in with the intention of feeling good things so that you can help your nervous system. You can self-soothe yourself. So you go into your meditation wanting to feel gratitude, wanting to feel love, happiness. Like those are the thoughts that you focus on for that 10 minutes. You're breathing with the intention of good thoughts because you want to help your nervous system rest and repair. The second one, so you got meditation and then you have breathing exercises that will access your parasympathetic response to stress. So that's, again, your rest and digest. So it doesn't have to be meditation. You can do breathing exercises when you're driving your kids to school or driving home or to or from work. Just taking deep breaths. I like the 4-7-8 method. So it's in for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and then out for 8. You do that 2 or 3 times. That will help regulate your nervous system and get you back into homeostasis. Next one is yoga, like those movement, Tai Chi, those type exercises. Those will help you regulate your nervous system as well. The next one is taking a walk in nature. Just getting outside, walking around, breathing fresh air, giving your eyes something else to look at, the horizon, giving your brain some time to just relax. So just even if it's 5 minutes a day, you just walk outside and take a walk, breathe in some fresh air, come back in, reset, quick reset. Laughter. Spending time with your loved ones, basically anything else that gives you pleasure. So you want to seek out anything that helps with the oxytocin, that chemical of just happiness and pleasure. So that could be laughter, watch something funny on TV or on a show or something every day that makes you laugh, spending quality time with your loved ones, your family, your friends, even sex. Sex increases oxytocin that can regulate your nervous system and get you relaxed. So lastly, I want to say is nutrition. Helping regulate your nervous system. Nutrition, consuming such foods that are rich in magnesium, that are rich in omega-3, fatty acids, those type of things can also help regulate your nervous system as well. The key with nervous system regulation is think survival mode is deregulated and creation mode is regulated. If you are living with a deregulated nervous system 90% of the time, that is not the time to go about and create things. So if you think about how much more productive you would be in your job or whatever it is you do for a passion when your nervous system is regulated. That is the space that you want to give ideas, give insights, make art, help with whatever it is that you do for a living. That's the space that you want to interact with your children in as much as possible. You do not want to go about life and try and create new things from a deregulated state where you're constantly in fight or flight. Because how can your brain fully embrace new things and creativity when it's so focused on managing a threat? So I hope that helped give you all some insight today on what it means to have a deregulated nervous system, what that can do to impact your health, and how when you are chronically deregulated or in survival mode, how that can lead to diseases, and how when you regulate it with the things that I shared today and any other things that you can think of, when you deliberately do that, that puts you in creation mode. That puts you in the highest and best version of yourself moment by moment, when you deliberately understand and take steps to regulate yourself and get you into the rest and digest phase of your day. So I hope that gave you some insight. I hope that you are vibrating higher now than you were when you first joined me. Please like, share, subscribe to my podcast. Make sure that you rate it, forward it on to anyone else that you think may enjoy it. And I wish you love and light, and I will talk to you soon.